So I'm about to hit my 5,000 mile mark on my car. Let's see. There you go, 4,971. So I'm here at RPM, gonna get my first oil change. Let's go.
How's it going, man?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. Ready to do this oil change?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Eneos oil. OEM Toyota filter.
All right, so what we gotta do first is we gotta lower this front air deflector. We gotta manually lower it down. So within approximately 45 seconds of turning the engine switch off, move the wiper level to the mist position and hold it for
Want me to do it?
2 seconds or more.
Okay, I'm gonna shut it off. The engine's not running right now. I'm gonna shut it off. Then I'm gonna go to the right stock, which is the windshield wipers. I'm gonna hold it up. How long?
For 2 seconds.
Let go?
Yeah, that's what it says.
All right, go take a peek.
It's got down? All right.
So look at that.
The deflector right there, dude.
Yep.
It looks kind of funny when you, cause someone drove my truck and I looked at it behind me with that thing down. I'm like, dude, that thing,
So
I don't like how it looks.
So when you go 35, it goes down, right? 35 or higher?
I saw it on the street, probably going about 35. I saw it down. That's how you get that fuel mileage, man. Aero. So basically when you do these front, well, if you have the TRD skid, you don't have to fully remove the front bolts because it's going to hold the skid from falling down on you. I'm going to get that thing back in. All right, so just slightly loose on those. All right. It's got these little like divots so you can slide the skid off. Watch out when you take down that last one. It might come down.
It's got a hook in the back too.
Hit you in the head. All right. Oh, good. I'm gonna put my hand on it just in case. All right, cool.
See how it hooks?
I see.
And then
Let's see. It slides. Okay, I got it. Good job, Toyota. This is better than the previous generation design.
This is the oil we're using, Eneos 020. And for the oil filter, you're gonna need part numbers 90915-10010.
All right, ready?
Ready, dude.
All right, don't get it twisted. The oil drain is in the front. I've seen people drain the transmission pan and then they fill the oil. So it's this one with the hex 14. When you look at it from this view, you're gonna, where I'm standing, I'm gonna pull it towards me. So that will loosen it. So that's never been cracked since it left Toyota. First oil change. It wasn't that tight. So this is like the cross member, right? You look right up here, you see where all the belts and pulleys are at? Filter's right here. So it's got a little catch thing right here that'll actually grab the oil that drains off the filter and it'll drain it down. So it kind of gets all over the frame right here. So if you have a tube, you can put a tube so it drains down properly, or just put like a rag right here. 7.7 quarts, man. It takes a little while to drain. So the interesting thing is Toyota went back, so while the oil is draining, we'll talk about the filter. For years, I think for the last 10 years, Toyota was using cartridge oil filters, meaning it was just like the media. And now they went back to a spin-on. I personally like these better because With the other style, sometimes the plastic housing will crack, and you have to replace it. It's like $50 or whatever it was. But I like these. It's easier, and you don't need to buy a special tool. You can use a traditional oil filter wrench to get those off. Snug that guy back, hand tight. There's a crush washer right there. You could replace it, but usually it's good for a couple oil changes at least. So your call on that. Righty tighty. You don't want to over tighten this, so just snug. That's it. Clean off the excess. Right. We were just talking about that catch for the oil filter, because once you open that up, it's going to dump all this oil. And from doing my truck, what happens is the oil will drop into this frame. There's a couple holes up here, and it's going to like get inside this, so it's a little hard to clean. So if you're at the parts store, just buy like a section of 5/8 hose. Just cut it. It could be any type of rubber hose. I'm gonna leave that there anyways. You're gonna slide this guy on here, and watch, when we undo the filter, you'll see the oil come out any second now. There it is, dude. So if you buy that, if you do oil changes at home, you could buy just a 6-inch section of 5/8 hose, or you can buy a foot if you want, depending on how long you want it, and you can just keep reusing it. Oh, see, it's like catching the frame right there. Maybe longer is better. All right, filter's off. Here it comes down. We'll let it drain a little bit. All right, got a new oil filter. Straight out of the box. Make sure you remove that plastic, just to keep it clean. Well, actually, it's kind of cool. It comes lubricated, right? So you don't have to lubricate it. What you want to make sure is the old gasket came off, because sometimes these gaskets stick to the block. That's no good. Cause a leak later down the line. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you gotta kind of just find the threads. You start it by hand right there. Most oil filters are just hand tightened, so you don't have to crank on it with anything else. All right, that's tight. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this hose. Just wipe up all this excess oil. It probably wouldn't hurt to shoot some brake cleaner in here to get rid of all the oil that's in that little funnel right there. We got some brake cleaner. Shoot some in there. Just give it a couple seconds to kind of just drip out excess and let it dry up. Okay, so we're about to put the skid plate back on. Earlier, well, just to remind you, we left the two front, well, if you have a TRD skid, we left the two front ones in there because the skid's gonna hook up in there, and then we're just gonna install the rear. But if you have the factory like plate, it's only like, the plastic piece is only this big, so you're just dealing with that, and it's super light, so you don't have to do all this stuff right now. But I'm gonna grab the skid plate. The back's gonna hook on first. Nope, there we go. Shit's easier with the front hooking first. Go forward a little bit. Get this back hook on. You wanna film this back hook out? So there's this little tab. This is actually a really good design. So it'll keep the skid on with just those two front bolts and that. And then you just start everything by hand. Before, you'd have to juggle the whole plate, try to start all the bolts, and you know, it's easy to strip something that way, but this is awesome. It's always good to start these by hand. Don't use impact because you could cross thread fairly easily. Get that one started.
There's only 4?
There's 6 total. So the technique I like to use is I like to start all of them before you tighten any of them, because if you tighten this one, if that hole is not aligned, it's going to be harder. You're going to have to loosen this back one. So we just start them all by hand. All right, that one's going.
No spacers needed either.
Yep, that's a plus, man. Because previous ones had spacers, and that was kind of a pain because the retaining washer would always kind of get beat up. So start with this one. I'm just gonna snug them all. Go. I'm gonna get a ratchet to finish it off, tighten it down so it's not over tightened or under tightened. For this, I like using a 3/8 long handle, same socket with a 12. See, just snug. Probably a good idea if you live somewhere where they salt the roads or there's rust issues. You'll probably put some anti-seize on these bolts or a little bit of grease on the threads to keep them from seizing up. But here in SoCal, we don't really have that problem. All right, skid plates on. We're gonna go ahead and go up there and fill the oil. So we got our nifty Toyota funnel here. It's not made by Toyota, but it's made for Toyota. So it actually threads into where the oil filler cap is. So it makes it pretty convenient. Don't have to worry about spilling the oil.
So what's up with that oil, Steve?
It's Eneos, man. This is a top grade oil. So a lot of people might not know, but these guys make oil for a lot of the car companies. And they're the largest oil company in Japan. So it's really trustworthy stuff, you know. We only want to use the best oil, especially in these turbo trucks. So this thing takes what, 7.7?
Yes.
Roughly?
7.7 quarts with filter.
Yep. This one, they do recommend I didn't read a lot of it, but I know the first oil change is at 5. And I think if you use it severely, like towing, like a lot of idling, stop and go, 5K.
5K,
Yeah.
right? 10K.
I think it's
you
at
mean
10
10K?
if you're like lightly, like a lot of like,
if you're a mall crawler, it's at 10.
mall crawling, highway driving, just chilling out. Yeah. But you know what? You think about it, oil changes are cheap compared to like having to replace your engine when it gets a higher mileage. So it's better be safe than sorry, because you know, with turbochargers, you don't want them to go bad. And longevity of the engine, better just change the oil at 5K. This is the cool thing about this funnel, is it just stays in place. You can just drop the oil right on there and go get your next bottle. So that's quart number 6. We'll just let that keep draining while we crack this one open. This is the 7th bottle. All right, this one you don't want to dump the whole one. It's the last bottle, so it's kind of hard to see, but you know, it's obviously easier for me to see because I'm here. But you know, there's a little kind of a clear indicator here on how much. So we're gonna want to fill use 3/4 of the bottle and just leave a quarter left. Kind of have to just ballpark it. Don't go too much. I think that's pretty close. So we're good. That guy. Bottom's a little tight. There we go. You want to use a rag here to catch that so you don't drip oil everywhere. Might as well put the cap back on so we don't forget. If you forget what kind of oil your engine uses, right on the cap. 0W20. And 0W20 only comes in synthetic. There's no conventional oil. So it's hard to mess that up.
Eneos.
Yep.
All right, so Steve just checked the air filter. It's still good.
Even with your off-roading, it's still good.
Means I'm not hitting the dirt enough.
Yeah. After you fill oil, it's always good to just look under, you know, make sure you tightened everything. We double checked, so we're good. But right now, start up the engine and let's check the oil level on the stick. About 5 seconds is good. Let's check the oil level. First thing you do is pull it out, clean the stick. We're gonna put it back in right away. Oh man, get your mind out of the gutter, dude. So it's pretty much right in the middle of the 2 dots, so that's good. I mean, a little extra wouldn't hurt, but it's good. It's actually dribbling down, but we're cool. It's a wrap. Make sure you plug that thing all the way back down. It's a wrap. We have to reset the inspection as well, so we're gonna go back right here. We're gonna hold this OK button.
We're gonna finish up.
Takes us to the next menu. Scroll down. So scheduled maintenance, that's what usually you would reset for like an inspection and overall vehicle inspection, like at certain mileages. So let's go into that menu. Press that down for yes. Reset complete. Let's go back. Let's go back. So let's turn it off. Make sure it's all reset now. We're gonna start it up again. So no more maintenance required, we're good.
Sweet, so that was my first oil change at the 5,000 case service. I want to say thank you to Steve at RPM Garage for taking care of me today. And yeah, look him up on Instagram, and his shop is located in Monrovia, California. Go check him out. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, you're welcome.